Okay, so last time I made a video was about a month ago, and in between that and actually this whole summer, it's been just jam-packed work, sports, life in general, bunch of whole little stuff. But one thing that I am taking day by day is something new. And that's really something that I feel like we can really get lost in and we can really lose sight of. Every day can feel mundane, every day can feel repetitive. It's very easy to get lost in that. But with that being said, before I start with my topic, I really want to challenge you, the viewer, whoever it may be, to learn something new every day. Something that may change your perspective, even if it's by a degree, even if it's half a degree. Doesn't really matter. Go learn a new word. Go learn to cook something. Go learn a new recipe. I don't know. But anyway, um, the past, I'll say 2 weeks, I've been really writing about something. And by the way, I'm writing way more. And I'm going to have my notebook with me here from now on because it's hard to talk to like a camera. This is very weird. I like talking to people face to face. So talking to a camera, it's not very organic. It's not very me. So while I do talk to the camera, I'm also going to look at my notebook and my notes because it helps. So I was really reflecting on my past, my history, and I wasn't reflecting on it in a negative way. Oh, look at the things that I've done. Da 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 da. Da. No, we don't do that over here because we're moving forward, right? We're seeing forward, but not far. We're looking what's the next step, one step in front of the other, and we're continuing. So now that we've circled around to that, I was reflecting, and in this season that I'm in of life, where I am building a foundation that's going to propel me, that's going to take me to different places, different stations, seeing different faces, different languages. I really needed to ground myself in, I don't want to say a routine, but a framework that's going to prepare me for the future. So, with that being said, the future looks great. Future looks bright. Every day, though it may seem like the same, it's not at all because time and chance happen to everybody. The race is not to the swift. So, with that being said, the topic of today is owning your history. And I'll tell you a little bit of what I wrote in my journal over the past week, actually. Um, I ended up writing, I'm not exactly sure if people care about their lives normatively because actions don't really follow suit. At least in my life, there's seasons where I feel like pushing myself and some seasons where I don't. But one thing that should be unchanging is being intentional because it's all part of your history on this planet. I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right. First of all, that's the first time I read it back to myself. Half of that stuff, I don't even know what I was thinking in the moment. But with that being said, I'm kind of gleaning where I was in this moment. Whenever I was writing this, I was definitely thinking about people and people around me. I can only tell of my experience, but people around me, some of them seem like they're just, like I just said, going through every day aimlessly. And when you inquire of it on a deeper level, the answer that it all seems to sum up to is I don't care. I don't really care. It's not really my concern. When sometimes I feel like people are either concerned about the wrong things or not concerned enough about the right things, especially pertaining to somebody else, like somebody's own self, their own character, their own events that are happening in their life, their own mental health, their own walk, their own path. It just seems like they don't really have an idea or a direction. But why am I talking about owning your history? It's really because, and this is what I wrote in the next paragraph, that your history not only provides the confidence and conviction needed to move and live in a world being pulled in 7 different ways, it also tells us who you are. Trials, tribulations, inaction, reaction, we will learn the kind of person you are, and what you're currently made of. So I think it's easiest just to tell of some things that I've been through. I don't even know where to start, but easy place to start. I had a little bad spell in late 2022, early 2023, where I went through several months of, you can call it depression. I usually just call it a long time of sadness, but I was pretty sad. And it led to some destructive behaviors, but I made it through that season. And one thing that I realized is that that season actually recurred several times, and it usually happens at a certain time. I don't want to say every year, but it's probably been almost every year since I turned 18. So, with that being said, every single year, even though I've gone through it, I've figured out the blueprint to how to beat it. And one of the biggest pieces for me to beat that sadness that just came randomly was literally just to keep moving through it. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, it's hard for depression to hit a moving target. It's not, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's pretty hard. And I think there's a term, high functioning depression. At least I'm getting things done. All right. Things got to get done, whether I'm sad or not. So I really don't like letting my feelings be the driving force behind the decisions that I make. And I don't think anybody should either. But I digress. That wasn't the worst thing that's happened to me in my life. But one thing I realized is that every bad, quote unquote, bad season that I've been through, whatever it may be, and however it may look like, it all ended up for my good. Today, I can confidently say that I'm emotionally grounded. um, time will tell, and those hard times really reveal a man. But I see over and over again, there's nothing new under the sun. The things that happen to me have already happened to me before. It just shows a different face, or it's in a greater scale. It's on a greater level. And if it ends up being on a greater level, that means if I'm feeling pressure, awesome. Pressure's a privilege, right? If I wasn't feeling pressure into doing something, then I mean, am I really living? Am I really going to grow? Is my character going to be more resilient? Is it going to be more anti-fragile? Or am I going to crush and have to get built back up all over again? And if I have to get built back up all over again, my foundation wasn't strong enough. Or maybe I didn't have enough faith. Who knows? There's always a reason behind something. But yeah, it tells you what you're currently made of. You could have a really bad past, a really bad history where you've made recurring bad decisions over and over again. And it tells us, hey, right now, you are not the best decision maker. And that may be true, but there's a difference between something that's true and something that's the truth. Something that's true today may not be true tomorrow. Something that may be true tomorrow may not be true today. But the truth stands forever. The truth is unchanging. The principles, the things that we learn that do not change, that's the truth. That's the end all be all. So, with that being said, even though you may be currently made of straw and hay, who knows, in about a year or two or 5, 10, who knows? You can build yourself up to be made of bronze, silver, gold, iron. You can really build something if you choose to count the cost and put the time, the work, preparation, and you're patient for the opportunity. You can really do something. You can do something amazing. So I do want to conclude with this. This isn't a long video, but concluding with, not only do I know my own history, but I take ownership of it, accountability, because it's one of my best guides for life. And accountability seems like the boogeyman in today's day and age, but take responsibility for the decisions that you make, and you should use them as a guide. They really reveal who you are. And with that being said, your decision making, the things that you do and don't do, the places that you should be and shouldn't be in should change. If you care. If you don't care, then okay, do whatever you want. But yeah, if you do care, you should be changing. If you're not changing, you're dying. But I do want to close with this. Ignorance is a prerequisite of people. I mean, we're all born ignorant, right? You grow up, let's say you're a baby, right? You're slobbering on your hand, and mom or dad's like, "Yo, get your hand out of your mouth." And then you realize, holy moly, I got my hand in my mouth, just slobbering on it. And then you realize you have a hand, and then you have two hands, and you have a leg and two legs. You have eyes, feet. So we're really ignorant, and it doesn't matter how old we are and how much we think we know. There's a there's a saying, therefore let he who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. Right? You might think you know, but you don't know anything. And that's one thing that I've come to realize as well. The more I think I know, I don't know. The more I know, the more I realize I don't know anything at all. And with that being said, that really just fuels me to know more, to learn more, to understand more, and to practically apply more in different ways to my life to not only benefit myself, but for the benefit of others. I'm only one man, but I live with 7 billion other people. So I better do something right. Moving on and finishing the thought, ignorance is a prerequisite of people, but don't be ignorant of the things that pertain to you. So don't treat your life like it's nothing because you're here. You can look, but you don't know how to see. Like it's a gift. We treat things that may seem like a right that we were just given. We treat them like rights when they're really privileges. We're not. I don't think we should be feeling entitled to as much as we think we should be. And maybe that's easy to say in America. Um, and maybe that's easy to say in my situation, but I know a lot of people who take their life for granted. And day by day, I'm learning, hey, maybe I shouldn't take my life for granted. And every day I wake up and I choose to be great. It may not look great now, but it definitely gets greater later. So we'll see what happens. But that is going to wrap this up. If you enjoyed it, I don't know, go share it for somebody and go tell them, yo, pay attention to your life or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm done. Later, Gator.